Bring the action.
Hello everybody, welcome back to TVV TV. So what you're gonna watch today is basically not just a vlog. It was an interview taken by a Spanish TV, I would say. Like the language was Spanish, but they were basically Latinos from Miami in the US. So they were basically covering the FIFA Women's World Cup, and they were basically interviewing all the pedestrians and ongoers on the street, just asking them about random questions about football, sports, life in New Zealand, and all the general stuff that usually, you would ask a person in an interview. But along with this interview, what I've done is I have given a lot of flashback memories from my previous YouTubing experience, and also a couple of sidelines to the various questions that have been asked. So the answers to them are through some of the experiences I've had within New Zealand itself. So it's going to be quite symbolic, and I hope you like it.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pretty nice and sunny afternoon out here. So,
It is. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
yeah, I mean, that's what we Aucklanders are always looking for, eh?
Yes.
So this is a long-range howitzer artillery. It can shoot at least up till 10 to 15 kilometers. One strange thing which when I was reading about this is that when the cannonballs are put into this, they have that kind of a rotating effect. So when they move out from there, and there used to be some device over here with which they could do the aiming and things like that. And the place where we are standing right now, viewers, it's called the place of the Walking Dead. I mean, you have no idea how many wars have taken place on this land, especially on this land where we are. And the museum where it is located right now, it is at the seat of a volcanic cone, and the name of this volcanic cone is Pukekawa. You can search about it online. So there used to be Maori Pas on the other village. That village is called the Pa on the other side of the museum, and so Pa is like a settlement of the Maori people. And so that hill over there, could you just point the camera on that side? That hill which you see over there beyond those trees and stuff, I'll show it to you after the museum. That hill is now called the Hill of Bitter Memories, and obviously why, because of the clashes and everything that have taken place. So guys, this is one of the most important parts. This is called a Whare Marae Whare, sorry. Yeah, so this is one of the places where Maori people, they gather, they talk about their religious and social stuff and everything else. So yes, as you see the person talking behind, we are supposed to take off our shoes and go inside. The first time when I went inside without taking off the shoes, I didn't read the sign properly. I went inside, took videos, photos, and you would not believe, guys, when I came out and I was at the park, I saw all the videos got deleted.
Oh. Damn.
So there is something out here. So be careful. But there's... Anyways, let's move ahead. It is a real story. I'm not making this up. It's there in one of my vlogs. Yeah. So last time when we came inside, all our videos went muted. So I urge you not to enter inside, but pay lots of respect to this and see it as it is.
There is like a provision for people to enter. As a warning, someone should enter that space because we don't know from what part of the Maori kingdom is captured based on. So
Yeah, what kind of curses it would carry and all that.
It's a terrifying day for Auckland.
Yeah.
So this is basically a Maori pa, the place where Maori people are settled. Now the interesting thing about this pa is, as you can see, there are layers and layers of mud, almost like terrace farming. So what they used to do is, they used to find out volcanic cones, and just next to the volcanic cones they would make their pas. And after making the pas, whenever the pas would be attacked by invading forces, they would build trenches just around these fencing that you see, and within those trenches they would be sitting with the guns and ammunition and everything. So like, let's say if it's like 50 people and there's an invading force of like say 500, but then these guys will be able to sustain as long as they're able to hold on to the pa. The pa was not just like a residential colony in a village, but they were quite strategically built on high grounds into stepped and trenched mud fortifications. As you can see in this pic, there were war trenches that consisted of heaps of ammunition and weaponry stored and stacked over months of collection. Men and women would be strategically positioned across the pa during invasions, shooting from positions with arrows, bullets, and even cannons that they had borrowed from the Japanese and the rest of the world around that time, shooting them from the higher grounds with more reach and visibility to knock down an enemy much bigger in size, thereby punching above your own weight basically. The only way to enter this pa was to find a weak spot and focus all men and energy into that and breaking and barging into it. There was literally no other way. They could keep bombarding it for about 8 hours with no damage. That's how heavily they were fortified, and because of the volcanic soil of New Zealand, it was quite strong. It was impenetrable unless you physically penetrated it. But the problem was, you can very easily break and barge into it even if you've crossed that hurdle. But even then, you may be in a very difficult situation. So it's kind of similar to the Mahabharata event where you had Abhimanyu, who knew how to break into the Chakravyu, if you know the reference that I'm talking about, but you don't know how to get out of it successfully. As you can see on your screen, due to better tactics and strategies, every Maori guerrilla warrior was equivalent to 4 British soldiers as a generic ratio across all these battles over the board, as a minimum, irrespective of whether it was a victory or a loss. Furthermore, they were not just militarily better, but also ethically, when they would treat even enemy casualties as a demonstration of their indigenous traditional value of tikanga, the moral compass, contrary to the idea that was floated around that time, that they were a bunch of barbaric, uncivilized, cannibalistic savages, as heaps of propaganda around that time depicted them in that sort of a light. So they keep shifting from one part to another, but they don't, fight face to face. So they used to have underground tunnels as well for supplies and stuff. So this is how they used to fight invading forces. And also this is one of their places to stay.
Okay.
Let's move. So this is called a moa. It's a gigantic bird species. It used to exist in New Zealand till about what time? Maybe somewhere around the 1500s it vanished. But till before that, it was like this is a replica, not a real one. But this is accurate as to like how big it used to be. Much bigger than the ostrich, as you all can see. And even more than this bird, there was an eagle which used to dive and hunt this bird.
Cool.
Yeah.
So bigger than this, I guess.
Yes, obviously. And that is called the husk seagull. The husk seagull is not just the largest megafauna among birds, but also among the highest flying birds ever known to humans on this planet. It was quite prevalent in New Zealand for about 200 to 300 years before as well. However, in the rest of the world, it was wiped out extinct quite early, back in the BCs itself, of which we hear only tales in various classical mythologies. There is a spectacularly interesting tale in the Valmiki Ramayana. Just for a quick context to all my non-Indic audience, as we know that in the Ramayana, when Ravana abducts goddess Sita in his Pushpaka Vimana, which supposedly flew at aircraft heights. Vimana is basically an aircraft, and speeds as well, got chased by Jatayu the bird, who tried to save goddess Sita Ma from the demon Ravana, who chopped off one of his wings, making him depart from his life. However, Jatayu's elder brother Sampati is still alive after he's dead. Who knows where Sita Ma is, because they can fly around and their navigation skills are the best. I mean, they can give more information to the human and the subhuman, like the Vanara Sena army that Lord Hanuman had at that point of time, and Sugriv. Here is an excerpt from the Valmiki Ramayana where he recites to Lord Hanuman, describing what kind of a bird he is and Jatayu was. Adya Pantha Kulinganam. Sparrows fly in the first plane. Dvitiyo Bali Bhojanam. Crows fly in the second plane. Stritiyam Gachanti Kraunchascha. Cranes fly in the third plane. Shenash Chaturtham Gachanti. Falcons fly in the fourth plane. Gridha Gachanti Panchamam. Vultures fly in the fifth plane. Shashthastu Pantha Hansanam. Swans fly in the sixth plane. Swans over here not referring to the literal swans of today, but the bar-headed goose which was seen back then and even now in the Himalayas. Vainateya Gatih Para. Garuda flies in the seventh plane, same as that of the airplane. And we both belong to the clan of Garuda. We both, as in Jatayu and Sampati. If we arrange all these birds according to their order in the script, we get this, as you can see on the screen. Vultures and bar-headed grouse in the Himalayas often interchange their positions in this hierarchy of who flies higher than whom. In the advent of strong winds and air currents, vultures, due to their larger wingspans, are able to capture this and upthrust into higher altitudes. However, during lack of wind and lackluster upthrusting air currents, the bar-headed goose flies higher, as it has more stamina to flap its wings continuously, way more than the vulture. And it also has the least dense body ever possible to mankind. However, the main point is that this order, as per the description, still holds true in this day and age, even after 12,000 years after the story was narrated. Not just Indic mythology, but also Egyptian mythology speaks of goddess Horus, the eagle goddess, wife of god Osiris. Who knows if all these mythological stories were not just pointing at a fantasy-based mythical creature, but an actual historical horse-eagle equivalent? From the Maori folklore, we know quite well that when humans started hunting the moa, the largest flightless bird that ever existed on Earth, the horse-eagle also started preying upon humans in order to fulfill their dietary needs. especially the Maori, account for this during the 13th to 14th centuries AD. But later on, as the moa became extinct, the horse eagle also became extinct, and now we don't have any bird picking us up and eating us. So that horse eagle was the biggest danger, because it didn't just eat moas. Even the Maori tribes that used to live, there will be a bird diving into you, picking you up and eating you. That's how dangerous this place was once upon a time. But then what happened is, people started hunting the moa for meat and stuff like that, and then these husky eagles were also hunting. So once moas got extinct, then the eagles started hunting a little bit of people, but they couldn't sustain. So eventually the husky eagle also became extinct. So these are the two very important extinct species of New Zealand. So the husky eagle was, just imagine like you're working in your field and suddenly a husky eagle starts chasing you. That's how it used to be in like the 1200, 300 ADs, those times. So what you see behind me, guys, this is called as the Three Wizards of Auckland Domain. There are many stories behind it. I mean, if you ask a normal person, or like what is the most generally floated idea, is that these are just focus on the statue for now. These are just symbols of equality, liberty and fraternity. But there are many other legends associated with it. The first legend which I have heard of, it's called the Three Wizards of Auckland Domain. So it said that during when the land wars were going on, there used to be 3 tohungas. Now, do you know what's a tohunga, Kevin?
Yeah.
So yes, for my viewers, I would still repeat what a tohunga is. Tohunga is like a Maori priest, and he's not just a priest, he's supposed to have some spiritual powers as well. And like many of them, I've heard that they had the powers of astral body, levitation, all those things. But these were like 3 of them, and especially during the land wars, because from the Christian perspective, they were seen as wizards or satanic people. So they were like executed away, and just the tree behind this, 3 of them were chopped off.
Okay.
Yeah, a very bad history of this place.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the grave of the great king Tawhio, the son of King Potatau Te Whero. They were a big part in the Kingitanga movement. Have you heard of the Kingitanga movement by any chance, Kevin?
No, I haven't.
You might have heard about the Treaty of Waitangi.
Yeah.
That's like the basic document. So I'll just start it from there. So when this Treaty of Waitangi was brought about in New Zealand, there were many errors with it, but the main thing was the translation in Maori was totally different from what was written in English. So the English one said that everything, all the control and everything goes to the crown, whereas the Maori version said that the chieftains will have their own right and British will have powers over their subjects. So because of this translation gap, they signed the treaty, and in a deceitful manner, land was taken away from them. So in the beginning, they tried to revolt against this in a peaceful way, but they kept on grabbing land. But when the things went out of hand, then you had this king called Potatau Te Whero. He was from the Kingitanga Iwi, from Waikato. He was one of the Waikato kings, and in those days, I forgot the name. The name of the Iwi, or the tribe which is in Auckland, is called the Ngati Whatua. So the Ngati Whatua Iwi, what they did is they gave all of this land to the Waikato tribes so that they could come and build their own powers and do the revolt against the British people. So the hill on which we are standing out here, it's called the Hill of Bit. So there you go, Kevin. How was your experience today after visiting all these places? Which one was your favorite and which one was your least favorite? How would you like to sum it up? And how was your experience of riding the scooty?
Yeah, so my favorite place was like the Dominion Park. Yeah,
Domain.
Yeah, Domain Park. Yeah, so it had like a lot of history, a lot of things to cover.
Yep. I'm seeing the bus.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yep.
And yes, the scooty ride, it was my first time, and still like it's actually an experience if you're in Auckland, like going through the city and can pretty much cover a lot of places in a quick time.
Yep.
And yeah, and the ferry ride was also good.
Ferry ride.
Yeah, it's also a must-do thing when you come to Auckland. So overall, it's like a really good trip, good climate to be out.
Oh yeah.
Great for Saptarishi to be my tour guide.
Oh, thank you. So from 1 to 10, how would you rate me as a tour guide?
Yeah, a 10.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you so much. You don't need to flatter. You can tell me my faults as well.
It's all good, bro.
Okay. But yeah, I mean that's like the best part. The tourism, especially South Island, those are definitely the best parts. अरे लाख लाख रोज आके घर जाते हैं, इस शहर को दिल लगा के घर जाते हैं। सोने की राहों में सोने को जगह नहीं, शोला है या है बजरिया, दिल की बिजुरिया मेलबर्न नगरिया। शोला है या है बजरिया, दिल की बिजुरिया मेलबर्न नगरिया।